Welcome to the Oxen Group Nightly. My name is David Ristow, President and CEO of the Oxen Group, and I'll be your host tonight for today's market wrap up. Today, the market, what a day in the market. Was quite a fun ride, I guess, for some. For us, maybe a little bit less fun. Um, we got into a couple positions today, one of which was Wabco, and we're going to talk about that company a little bit more. We're also going to talk about our position that we have in Activision Blizzard. Excuse me. We'll talk about our other current positions. Give a quick look at our long-term rating update that we had today for Ryland Homes, and we're also going to be talking about tomorrow's forecast. Today, the market started out looking pretty strong and things were good after some good Coca-Cola earnings, a round of great earnings in the previous night, and things looked positive. But then Ben Bernanke came into the scene and testified in front of Congress today. And some of his comments were, I guess, taken a little bit negatively and gave enough catalyst for a bear pullback that lasted through most of the day before a late rally. One of the main comments that scared people was Bernanke basically said that unemployment could possibly last for a few more years and it could remain pretty high. However, he did have a pretty positive comment saying that he does not foresee us having any inflation in any time soon, and that he believes fully that the Fed has that under control. Another big story today that maybe wasn't priced into the market and probably won't have much impact until it's further known what its effect will be on it is that the New York Stock Exchange is in talks with Deutsche Börse about a possible combination, and we'll get into that a little bit more. So basically, Bernanke's comments on the market were in front of that Congress committee today, and he commented that unemployment is going to remain high for some years, and this is definitely scary to some. And it was able to start a little bit of a bear run, and we had a lot of overvalued stocks, and once profit taking started to occur, it continued. However, if we look at the chart on the day, we see here in the morning things are starting to really get going. Throughout the early parts of the day, and then we start to see Bernanke started his press conference right around this time, and things start to trail off. And this is right here is the real drop that we saw, going down about 40 points there. However, we see that throughout the rest of the day, we actually do buy up this dip pretty well, back up to this area, back to the moving average, and then fall back down again, all the way back down, and buy that dip up, completely back up again. I mean, we've been talking about this over the last few Oxen Group Nightlies that, as we see these negative sentiments happen to the market, we see these buy-ups going back up, and the market just reestablishing itself and showing a lot of bullish tendencies. And I can't say that that didn't happen again today. It was a stressful day for us with our personal holdings and at our website, but really in reality, the market showed again strength, and you have to wonder, are we going to continue higher again tomorrow? I mean, there's some real possibilities of it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Our big position that we got in today was Wabco. They're an auto parts maker, mostly making brakes, suspensions, transmission systems. We got into them at 58.75 today in the middle of the day, and stock looks really solid despite what happened to it throughout the day. We are very solid with it, or we have a very solid position on it because the company is about to report really major earnings growth year over year. They're going up to the EPS range around 0.80, which they haven't seen in years, and the stock still, despite those major earnings coming out of the way, is undervalued. And despite the drop that it had throughout the day, it actually ended up down about 1.5% for us. It moved up very well in after hours, up to almost 4% in after hours at one point. And it has earnings on Friday, and so we're expecting a really big day for it tomorrow. Borg Warner has earnings tomorrow. If those are even decent, we think that this stock could really blast off. And you see here, this is today's movement, and we have again the down day, but you can see the reason that we were pretty bullish on it is over the last 4 days the stock rallied and it hit this resistance level right here. This is in between its top and bottom Bollinger Band, and you see it kind of crept out over it. And if we had had a even decently solid day, this stock would have really rallied today, and it didn't. But you still it rallied in after hours, broke this area, and if it can continue with that trend tomorrow, this can come right back up to that resistance line and hopefully break through it tomorrow before earnings. If it doesn't still, it could probably get up to the 59.20 to 59.30 area, and we'll get a nice 2-day trade of, a percent to a percent and a half, which will be very solid for us. I don't see it having a lot of downward movement still because of the earnings that are coming out. And really, here's what happened with the stock. You see back here, you have this gap up, and this was the reason we really liked it. This right here at this point is the company on this day announces that they're raising guidance from about the 0.55 to 0.65 range to around 0.80 on EPS. That's a huge raising guidance, and the stock rallied all the way up to 62.90, 63 about that area. And but you see that over the time, since earnings have started, the stock has trailed off and it's really lost its momentum, and it's gotten some gains and then gone back down, and then it rallied here. And you think that it's probably going to continue on that path, and we get this down day today. And I think that this is really a fluke, and that this stock should continue on that trend. So the stock is not even pricing in that raising guidance basically anymore at all. And that is just a really big sign that things are going to be happening. Also, we got a really good RSI at 46.91. There's a lot of upside for this stock. Okay, let's talk about our Activision exit. We exited today on 2/3 of the position for a 0.5% gain. I mean, we got into Activision here, and you see this chart. This momentum that the stock was exhibiting was unbelievable, and we couldn't pass up that opportunity. Breaking out, good earnings on the way expected, but today it just could not get it going. A lot of analysts came out and said they're expecting pretty weak guidance from the company, and buyers sold it off. And we took out our majority of our position, but we did hold into earnings. And the stock in after hours beat EPS estimates at 0.55 versus 0.2, beat revenue, announced a stock buyback program. They announced that they're raising their dividend 10%. And all that, despite that, everyone just wanted to know what the guidance was, and guidance missed estimates, and the stock moved down about 7.5% after hours. I do not believe that it will be that far down tomorrow. I think we would be seeing more of like around a 5% down open, just simply given patterns of what we've seen during this earnings season. And if they can, get some bullish sentiment in the morning, maybe an upgrade based on, the stock buyback program, which is really does help at valuation, the dividend increase. There might be some analysts that see that as a really big plus. We might see an upgrade, or we may see some downgrades. It's just really, I'm not sure at this point, and we're going to have to wait and see how things are in the morning. We do only have a 1/3 position left, and so it probably will wipe out most of our gains, but they were small anyways. The loss will be small, so really in the end, this position kind of just wasn't anything. Other current positions. I guess we'll talk about, we had a position today in Momenta. It was a quick day trade, did not work out for us. We got in the morning at 13.89, and the stock fell throughout the day, and we were stopped out of that one for a 3% loss. We also got into Expedia, we got into Expedia on Monday, and EXPE is the ticker for that. And the stock gave up a lot of its gains that we had gotten on the stock. It's up slightly from our entry, and we're expecting still big things from this stock tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day that we were probably going to get out of it, and we need the stock to move up tomorrow, but I'm expecting good things from it tomorrow. The stock shows some pretty strong resilience at its support level at 24.40. I think it'll bounce right back up to where it was, and we should be able to get out for a 2 to 3% gain tomorrow. Infinera, Infinera and Ruth are two of our long-term holds that we've had in our buy pick portfolio, and both took pretty big losses as we've discussed over the last 2 days, but have been bouncing back. And both of those stocks held their positions really well today. Didn't give up any gains, very slightly, and that's a really, really bullish sign. When the stock has a lot of support at its current levels. On a green day, both these stocks are gonna fly again, and we're expecting, if tomorrow is a good day, which I'm leaning towards actually now that it might be, which we'll get into in just a second, these stocks hopefully will get another good rise. Long-term portfolio update real fast. Ryland Homes, we reiterated a hold today on that stock. We did drop the price target on it from $20 as a fair value to $19 and dropped our buy and sell range. Our buy range is now at below 15 and sells above 21. We like Ryland because it has a great balance sheet, has great financial health, like a current ratio at almost 6.5. I mean, this is a stock that's really, or excuse me, a company that has done all the right things to maximize their capabilities in the situation that's been given to them with such a terrible home market. I mean, this is a very well-run company, and when this company finally does start to see some growth, this could be one of those home builders, I think, along with the other one that we have some interest in, Toll Brothers, which is another one of our long-term ratings, that could definitely take off, and that's why we give it such a high fair value estimate. If you really price in, current, what they're really doing, you would have a negative price on the stock. But we think growth should start to come back this year. Hopefully they can come close to breaking even this year with growth and in the black in 2012. Tomorrow's forecast. So really the markets today, I think they question, what are we doing? Are we going to go higher or are we going to go lower? And the rally that we saw at the end of the day, it signals that we still have this bullish sentiment. I mean, in the end, the market didn't end up any further worse off than it did, despite the negative news from Bernanke. Tomorrow's, I think, the data and the news that comes out is really going to be very important. We have initial claims tomorrow, and we have wholesale inventories, and claims have been doing very well, moving down, moving down, moving down. If they continue to move down tomorrow, that'll completely erase what Bernanke basically said today, and I think we'll see the market really rally after that. However, if they're bad, it will be a more a reiteration kind of what Bernanke said, and that will in effect really, I think, take a toll on the market. We do have some big earnings coming from like Borg Warner, PepsiCo, Sprint Nextel, Molson Coors. So those are some big earnings that could definitely make some moves in the market, but they're not market makers, any of them. And so I really look at that claims as going to definitely be something to watch out for. That will come out pre-market, and we'll hopefully be able to base our, play, what we're thinking is going to happen tomorrow based off that. Well, that's going to do it for today. Visit us at www.theoxengroup.com. Email us at contact@theoxengroup.com. Call us at 1-800-709-1160. We hope you'll become a part of 70% plus accuracy. If you haven't been to our website yet, we have a free trial for 10 days that you can help you test out our site. We have a number of reports every day that we put out. You can join our mailing list. You can add us on Facebook, Twitter us, tweet us. Follow us on Seeking Alpha. We're all over. Just check us out. Look us up on the Google. I'll see you guys tomorrow.